But to slightly correct the question, and it's kind of like we've been funny, haha, but it's like time to be serious. Nothing would make me happier than for Netflix to want to show movies theatrically. We have been trying for years now to convince Netflix that the most successful movies on streaming services are those which have had a robust theatrical release.
Paramount says that's settled. Last week at an event for media, they said it's settled now that movies that go to theaters first do better on streaming.
Well, I agree with them. And by the way, it's settled at Paramount, and it's settled at Disney, and at Warner Brothers, and at Universal, and at Amazon, and at Apple. It's just not, F1.
Well, they put Amazon and Apple both put movies on their streaming service.
F1.
The windowing is not secure. We'll get to that, but the windowing at the streamers is not.
But F1 was a major theatrical release, and we've thought, and my hat's off to Apple. I think they did a great job with F1, and it was a wonderful movie. And you didn't have to be an F1 fan to really enjoy the story. It was really a well-made movie. But I think we've won that argument with everybody but at Netflix. And we've tried. I personally spent hours and hours trying to get The Irishman into theaters.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Did you feel like that was going to happen? Is that the closest you've gotten to having a deal?
No, the closest we got was the Knives Out sequel, The Glass Onion.
Glass Onion.
Which we actually played, hoping that it would convince Netflix that they would make money from it, and it would increase the ratings of Glass Onion on its streaming platform.
But let's go back to The Irishman for a second, because that was one of my things that readers said was one of the biggest calamities.
All the units in 4071 and 211 just occurred in New Jersey and Savannah.
The past 15. But let's go back to The Irishman for a second, because that was one of my things that readers said was one of the biggest calamities of the past 15 years. You guys were close. Netflix wanted to put Irishman in theaters, mostly probably because Scorsese wanted it. And at the time, I believe your reporting was that it was a 45-day window that Netflix was willing to do, and you said no.
No. I thought the understanding, yes. Well, my understanding was that you and Scott Stuber had an agreement at 60, but Ted and Reed insisted on 45.
And I don't believe in kissing and telling in public.
Okay.
So I don't think it's appropriate for me to share what we agreed to and what we didn't agree to. And all I can say is this. We tried very hard to make it happen. I talked for hours and hours with Scott Stuber. He tried internally to make it happen. And at the end of the day, there was not corporate agreement between Netflix and AMC as what the window would be, what their film rent would be, et cetera, and it didn't happen. And it's a shame. And we did it with Glass Onion, and we haven't done it since. And we did announce we were going to play Narnia, and that is yet another carrot out to Netflix. We didn't do it so much for Netflix, we did it more for IMAX. We're very close to IMAX, and this was an important project for IMAX. And as a favor to the CEO of IMAX, I said, yes, we'll play Narnia. Other circuits have not yet said yes.
That is true.
And this still dangles out a carrot. I don't want to be a foe of Netflix. Netflix is a great company. I would love to play Netflix movies in our theaters, but hence going back to principles and this past weekend and Kpop, we need a respectable theatrical window, because if I do something for Netflix, a 2-week window or something, how do I say to Disney or Warner Brothers or Sony or Paramount, oh, yeah, but for you, it's 45 days. It's just not right. So,
but is it different if it's just, this is a movie that came out 2 months ago. You're doing 2 days. It's not
a stunt.
Yeah.
You play movies all the time that came out and have been on home video for a long time. You did E.T. re-release. You're doing Wizard of Oz re-release.
But that's different. Those are re-releases, and they're intended to be re-releases. They're not intended to be new movies. If this industry... like you said that David Ellison said this is a settled question, and I believe he's right.
He has an incentive to say that, by the way. He's competing for talent with Netflix and going aggressively after their talent. And I've always said that the talent is going to be what breaks Netflix. It's not going to be you. They don't need you. It's going to be filmmakers that say, we're going to take our project you want to Paramount because they're going to give us theaters.
You're probably right. But having said that, David Ellison did actually say it's a settled question. And we believe that it's in studios' interest to take movies to theaters first, because if they do, when those movies, first of all, they're going to make a lot of money. Remember, this industry pre-COVID grows $43 billion globally, and the studio's share of that is substantial. We believe they'll make a lot of money from their theatrical run, and when they then take the movies to streaming services, they're going to be watched that much more. It's not going to be some endless scroll of title after title after title that you don't know what the movie is. I mean, the most successful movie I think on Paramount Plus was Top Gun Maverick. Why? Because of its $1.5 billion theatrical run. That's why. Having said that, if the industry trains consumers that movies aren't going to have a theatrical run, and they just wait a week or two, and movies are at the home, free, I might add.
Well, free with quotes.
Well, incrementally free, right? I mean, you pay your monthly fee, but watching the next movie doesn't cost anything. If we train consumers to stay home, they will do what we train them to do. They will stay home. That's not good for studio incomes who depend on their split of ticket revenue. So I think Ellison is right. And it's in my interest to say that too, right?
Sure, of course.
But I happen to believe it, which makes it even more convenient.